I have a reasonably okay feeling about this. Oh, and spoilers. Welcome to the channel, I'm Hayes, I talk movies all day, so subscribe right now if you want to be entertained. And today, I want to talk about The Empire Strikes Back, the 4th episode but 2nd movie made in the Star Wars Skywalker saga. Now, I like Star Wars, I like it a lot, as I'm sure many of you do too, but that's really all the more reason to talk about why it's trash. So the movie starts off by making you read, and yes, I know all Star Wars movies, well, most Star Wars movies do this, but still, until the day they make books with built-in video monitors, this will always annoy me. Anyway, why is Luke leading the group of freedom fighters? Dude got one lucky shot in the last movie and that qualifies him to be in charge? Come on. And why is Darth Vader sending out probes when he can just search his feelings? Plus, sending out probes seems like a highly inefficient way of trying to find someone. Maybe just hire a bounty hunter instead? Luke got hit on the back of his head, but got cuts on his mouth. Han still hasn't paid Jabba the Hutt what he owes. The fact that Jabba hasn't added any interest to that loan is commendable. And Leia is still trying to get him to stay. I swear, this woman don't care, fam. Why is this man taking orders from a criminal? Han ain't got no official rank with the rebels. When the guy says to Han, "The Tauntaun will freeze before the first marker," Han replies with, "Then I'll see you in hell." This is an admission that the Rebel Alliance are the real bad guys. So this abominable snowman had Luke hanging upside down and unconscious and didn't eat him? Are you dumb? Also, how did Luke lightsaber himself free? From that angle, I swear he would have just chopped his own toes off. Also, if Luke can force will the lightsaber to him, then why not just force will the ice off his feet? Just seems like a much safer option. And why not use the Force to make the snowman back up instead of chopping his arm off? Snowman could have ate Luke anytime but didn't. Maybe the snowman was friendly. Maybe the snowman figured Luke would freeze to death out there, so took him home. How's Snowman supposed to know humans shouldn't be hung upside down? He probably doesn't get much company. I'm just saying, Luke turns up at the next man's yard and chops his arm off. Luke ain't got no manners. Luke runs out into the snowstorm with no idea where he is or where he's going and apparently forgot he has a radio communicator. Are you dumb? Can the dead Jedi choose when they appear to the living? Because if so, Obi-Wan picked a terrible time. This is like when your mum tells you to do something when you're barely awake and then gets mad at you later and you have no idea what she's talking about. Also, this scene inspired Leonardo DiCaprio. Now everyone likes to talk about the kiss between Luke and Leia, but here's something potentially worse that I don't think I've heard anybody say. Throughout the movies, Han pretty much exclusively refers to Luke as kid, as in recognizing that Luke is significantly younger than him. Now Luke and Leia are twins, which makes them the same age. So why is Han out here chasing after Leia? Now look, truth is they're all adults and love is love, so I ain't even mad at it. But if someone is of an age that Han himself considers to be immature and yet is still trying to do a Super Mario impression and get a pipe through to the princess, then dude, you have issues. Also, Leia kissed Luke without Luke consenting first just to prove a point to Han. That is sexual misconduct. Also, the fact that none of them fought to look away goes to show how perverted they are. In fact, I'm pretty sure Chewbacca creamed himself right afterwards. Why was this guy so against going to the Hoth system? The whole point of the probes was to find the rebels and through dumb luck they actually do. But this guy's making bare excuses not to go. Haven't they learned their lesson from episode 4 when they let the droids escape? And speaking of not learning their lesson, why are these guys still trying to step to Darth Vader? Man can force choke you on a Zoom call. How were the rebels able to blow up the walker when it fell? A moment ago they said that armor was too strong for blasters. Why would Leia hope that Han gets it wrong someday? Dude is literally trying to save their lives right now. The day he's wrong would be a short-lived celebration. I'm gonna guess that this shot was put in for the ladies. And probably this one too. Han says, "That wasn't a laser blaster, something hit us." Dude, you might want to reword that statement. Are you dumb? So the massive Millennium Falcon can fly through an asteroid field with little problems, but the tiny TIE fighters can't? I guess the Empire is supposed to be terrible pilots as well as a terrible aim, so once again, they prove to be no real threat. Luke says that Dagobah is a strange place to find a Jedi Master, but the only Jedi Master Luke knows was a desert hermit that was spying on him since he was a kid. How is Dagobah any stranger? Luke tells Yoda he's looking for a great warrior, and Yoda replies, "Wars not make one great," which sounds really deep and thought-provoking, and I guess it kinda is, but that's not what Luke was saying now, was it? He said a great warrior, not a person who is great because of war. Are you dumb? Also, Yoda steals Luke's lamp. Han was using a different kind of force when talking to Leia. How many times did she reject him and he just kept on pressuring her? There's a point where it just becomes harassment. Now of course Leia gives in because women like it when you don't take no for an answer. Bitches be playing hard to get. Yeah, the 80s were wild. We're about 1.5 movies into the saga and it's only now Darth Vader realizes Luke is his kid, and only after Palpatine tells him. But did you notice how Darth Vader tried to deny it until Palpatine gave him the results of the DNA test? Like, what are you trying to say? Okay, so I know it's raining, but did R2-D2 really get clean that quickly? I get that Yoda was trying to test Luke's patience, which is why he didn't announce himself as Yoda right away. But bear in mind, he was lying to Luke. So how about Yoda recognize the fact that Luke is stranded in a strange place looking for someone he has no idea who, and now you're lying to him about who you are? Of course he's going to be impatient. Yoda is purposely causing that. Are you dumb? Also, Yoda says he's trained Jedi for 800 years and will keep his own counsel on who is to be trained. First of all, that's very arrogant. Second, by the time we get to the prequels, we found out just how well Yoda's training went. Spoiler? Not well at all. So yeah, maybe take a little advice instead of making excuses while complaining about someone else's impatience. Are you dumb? Also, Yoda says he's been watching Luke for a long time, so that means Yoda lets Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru get killed. Why does anybody trust this guy? Leia says there's something out there. I'm gonna let Eddie get this one.
Well, there's bound to be something outside, Richie. You can't expect the universe and its entire contents to be contained within the confines of a small canvas tent.
There was actually no real reason for them to leave the belly of the beast. They were there for a while before they even knew it wasn't a cave, and not only were they not killed, the Minocs managed to survive in there too. So clearly this thing is not an enemy. Yoda tells Luke he will not need his weapon when going into the cave. Good thing Luke didn't take that advice. Also, even in his own head, Luke drew his saber first. This guy thinks they don't need bounty hunters. You sure about that? They sent out thousands of probes to find a small group of people, and even when found they still managed to escape. Methinks you need all the help you can get. These guys really ducked when the Falcon flew over their heads? They know they're indoors, right? Yoda tells Luke, do or do not. There is no try. Which sounds really deep and thought-provoking, and it kinda is. Except it really doesn't make any sense now, does it? When you attempt to do something that ultimately doesn't go the way you want, that is called trying. Are you dumb? But for real though, after everything Luke has been through and seen up until this point, how does he think that lifting an X-Wing out of a swamp with the Force is impossible? Are you dumb? Imagine working in a place where if you screw up you get killed. And they're out in space, so it's not like they can just place job ads for new staff. At some point, everyone's going to be way overworked, which leads to more mistakes, which leads to more people getting killed. It's not a sustainable workplace policy. I can't be mad at Lando for the way he approached the princess. I mean, I'd be trying to Leia too. So Luke had a dream that Yoda interpreted as Luke's friends are in trouble, so naturally Luke wants to go help them. Now, I get that he hasn't completed his training, which makes it a dangerous situation, but Yoda, as someone who has trained Jedi for 800 years, thinks that telling him to just let his friends die was an appropriate thing to say. Are you dumb? Also, everything Yoda said was wrong. Yoda said that he could help his friends, but would destroy everything they fought for. Wrong. Yoda said if Luke goes now, he would become an agent of evil. Wrong. And let's not forget that Yoda was training Luke to go kill his own dad without telling him. Yoda is manipulative, arrogant, deceitful, and just not a very nice person at all. Remember how George Lucas said he changed the Han shot first scene in A New Hope so that Han doesn't look like a cold-blooded killer? Yet here is Han trying to kill Darth Vader when Darth Vader just wanted to have dinner. Han was mad at Lando for putting his own problems ahead of theirs, which is exactly what Han was doing before the rebels made him feel bad for trying to pay back the money he owed. Now, had Han paid Jabba back in A New Hope, he wouldn't be in this mess now. Also, Chewbacca is really horny right now. And again, Luke drew his saber first. Chewbacca tries to strangle Lando after Lando sets him free. Okay, I get that Lando struck a deal with Darth Vader which led to Han getting captured, but surely by the fact that Lando got rid of the stormtroopers and willingly uncuffed Chewbacca shows that he's at least trying to help them out. Remember, the dude's got his own problems too, but it seems the good guys only care about themselves. Vader really tried to reconnect with his son, even after his son tried to kill him. That's a man trying to make up for lost time. People don't talk enough about about how Darth Vader is a good role model. So do the rebels just keep spear hands around? Are hands getting chopped off that common? The movie ends with Lando and Chewie going to look for Jabba the Hutt and Luke and Leia staring into space. Alright, so before I get into my final thoughts, if you liked this movie, check out these movies. They're all from the 80s, they're all the second movie in their series, and some of the must-see movies of all time. So like I said, I enjoyed this movie, and there's a few reasons for that. First time I saw it, or at least first time I can remember seeing it, I was blown away by the big sci-fi action. I know the Darth Vader father reveal was a big thing, but to be honest, I can't remember if I had any specific reaction to that. Bear in mind I would have been still single digits and probably wasn't paying all that much attention. But now after watching it a bunch of times since, it definitely has a nostalgic value for me. And even looking beyond my rose-tinted glasses, I think there's a lot of things Empire does well. Like the Darth Vader father reveal, having Palpatine telling Darth that Luke is the son of Anakin. At this point, we still think that Anakin was killed by Darth Vader. In hindsight, the whole search your feelings was a massive clue to the fact that Anakin and Darth Vader are the same person, but it was subtle enough to not just give it away. Oh, and by the way, I've seen that thing going around saying how Darth Vader is German for Dark Father. No, it isn't. And besides, George Lucas was not thinking that far ahead when A New Hope was made, barely thinking that far ahead when Empire was being made, which is probably why Leia molests her own brother in that same movie. But the Luke-Leia kiss, I can look past that. Bottom line is, at that point they didn't know they were related. What is harder to get past is the fact that Yoda is a terrible person, or creature, or swamp rat, or whatever he is. Even by 1980 standards, this guy is rude, inconsiderate, and he's supposed to be the wise old master. Man's a dickhead, fam. But anyway, a lot of people consider this to be the best Star Wars movie, and I can see why. It pretty much does everything a sequel needs to do. It builds on the original film, keeps enough familiar to be consistent, but then does enough different to be its own thing, which allows it to create certain expectations while leading up to a major plot twist. In fact, there's a few other surprises in the movie with Lando Calrissian switching sides back and forth. One thing that I think it didn't do so well though is that it really isn't a complete story. Now of course I get it needs to leave things open so they can resolve them in the next movie. That's fine. But because nothing really gets resolved in this film, it feels less like a movie and more like half a movie that you gotta pay full price again to see the rest of. It's not a major problem, and to be fair, the fact that the films are referred to as episodes kinda implies that sort of thing is gonna happen. But would have been nice. Maybe. Whatever. But that's what I think of Star Wars Episode 5 The Empire Strikes Back. What do you think of Star Wars Episode 5 The Empire Strikes Back? Let me know down below, and while you're there, be sure to like, subscribe, and drop a suggestion if you don't mind.